Hey, it's Sri here, and in today's video, I'm going to talk you through the mixed messages of men and how confusing it can be and what you can do to overcome that. Now, before we dive in, if you're going through a difficult time in your marriage and you're really struggling with these different communication styles with your husband and you're not able to quite get through to him, or you're not getting the results that you're really looking for, in your marriage to be able to create the shifts that you want, then, my heart goes out to you because it is really, really painful stuff. And I always say that relationships and marriages always bring up our deepest fears and our deepest wounds. And so for that reason, I totally empathize with the fact that the pain that you're going through is going to be at a level of intensity that you may not have experienced before. But I want you to know that, you absolutely can create some of the shifts that you're looking for. And I want you also to know that you're not alone. And that, there are people out there who are able to serve you and help you on your journey. So if you are needing some support, if you are needing some guidance on your journey right now, then, I'd love to be of service to you. And so if you want to know a little bit more about what I do, then you can either, in the description section below, you can book a call with me directly so you can speak to me and just hear a little bit more about what I do and how I can serve you on your journey. Or you can feel free to register for the free masterclass training, where you learn about the 3 steps that my client Sarah used to be able to save her marriage in less than 60 days. She's an incredible woman who's been able to create some amazing shifts in her marriage, and I'd love to share that with you. And make sure you hit the subscribe button below so that every week you get access to my latest videos teaching you specifics about how to save your marriage, how to really heal from within, and also how to maximize your knowledge around male psychology so that you can communicate and interact with your husband in the best way to be able to get the best outcome that you're looking for in your marriage as well, because the truth is that men and women operate in very, very different ways. Now, often I hear from women, they always tell me, look, Sri, I just don't understand my husband. Like, we're separated, or he says he wants a divorce and the next minute he's intimate with me, or, he's saying how much he loves me and the next thing he's ghosting me. And you get these constant, what we call mixed messages in the marriage. And I understand how confusing it is. I understand how challenging it is to deal with that, because it takes you on this emotional roller coaster that it seems to be very difficult to be able to navigate yourself through. And, that's not just you, it's in any walk of life. If we have a person that says one thing and then says the opposite thing and is very contradictory in the way in which they approach their communication, you often find yourself just going, none of this makes any sense. And it can also take you to these different places emotionally. One moment you can feel like, oh my God, he's actually wanting to make this marriage work and he's really serious about it. And then the next moment it's like, I don't know if I want to be in this marriage anymore, or I don't know if he wants to anymore. And it just creates so much confusion on the inside. And so what I wanted to do in this video was just to shed a little bit of light on the reasons why there are these mixed messages, and then what you can do to be able to manage yourself through these difficult circumstances as well. Now, the first reason why men tend to apply a lot of mixed messages is that they don't want to hurt you. You see, a lot of guys actually do care about their partner a lot, and they don't actually want to see their partner hurting. It really does pull the heartstrings. I recall, years gone by when I'd been in relationships and I felt like it wasn't actually going to be the right one for me. And the thought of breaking up with that person just crushed me. And I was absolutely guilty of mixed messages, because there were moments where, I saw how much it devastated and hurt that person. And I didn't want them to feel that way. So, I probably dragged it on longer than I really should have. And so you'll find some guys who, are very in touch emotionally and then potentially know that they're going to hurt their partner at a really deep level. And so they start to freak out and they start to be really, really concerned about the impact on the other person. And so they constantly will send these mixed messages. There'll be moments where they tell them, look, I'm not sure if this is really the right relationship or marriage for me. And then the next moment they might see their partner starting to cry and they think, oh God, I'm not sure what to do here. Okay, fine. No, I love you, honey. And then they'll start to act in those ways where they're almost giving those messages to the person that, I don't know if I really want this marriage, but at the same time, I do love you and I do connect with you, and, I care for you and we've had this beautiful family together and so on. So you get these mixed messages because you find some of those men who are very, very sensitive and always think that, okay, well, if I can just try and ease her down gently, then that won't create as much pain for her. Now, that's not the right approach. But I think if we can just take a step back and think, well, it's coming from a place where they're actually hurting and they don't want to hurt the other person. I'm not justifying the behaviors, but I think it's important to understand that on a conscious level and on an intellectual level as well. And then you'll find some other guys who feel like what they need to do is be more cutthroat and be more kind of ruthless in those moments and just say, no, we're finished, it's done, that's it. And what will happen is, but then what happens is outside the marriage, they'll feel this void or this sense of loss inside. And so that then plays on their emotions, and then boom, and then they connect back with their wife or their partner, and they start to feel like, oh, okay, maybe I'm not doing the right thing, or maybe I do want to be with her, and so on. And so once again, you get these mixed messages regularly. It's like, is he interested in me? Does he want to make this work, or he doesn't? So often the first thing that comes about is that he actually doesn't want to hurt you. And believe it or not, in that second group of men, when you find guys who are actually wanting to cut it loose quickly, they think that if they do that, that they're actually helping you. And then you find another group of men who tend to be a little bit more cutthroat and a bit more ruthless and might say, you know what, this just isn't the right marriage for us. I think it's time that we move on, or however they communicate that. And then what will happen is after a period of time, they might feel that void, they might feel that sense of loss. And so they engage in communication again, and they might even come over, and they might even want to be intimate with you and so on, because they feel that sense of void. And because of that void, the emotions are triggered, and then they want to connect with you. Now, strangely enough though, when they are actually ruthless and cutthroat in the beginning, they think in their own mind that that is the right way to do it, to protect you. Because why try and be nice when all we'll end up doing is potentially dragging it on further, rather than just being direct and to the point and saying, you know what, I don't think this marriage is for us. Let's just move on. And I'm done with it. And they think that in the long run, that will actually benefit you. So either way, there is a lot of protective mechanisms that are in place there to try and help you. I'm not justifying their behavior. I'm not saying it's the right thing to do. I'm not saying it's the right approach at all. But I'm giving you an insight as to why there are these types of communication challenges as well in a marriage. The second reason why men tend to give a lot of mixed messages is that it reflects their own inner ambivalence. They don't even know a lot of the time themselves. They're not sure if they want to be in the marriage, and they're not sure if they want to leave the marriage. They're sort of in this middle ground somewhere, and there's enough pain there for them to question it, but there's enough happy times and sort of enjoyable times in the past, and also the emotional connection and the attachment when it comes to the kids and the overall family and owning a home or whatever it may be. There's enough of that keeps them kind of in this middle ground somewhere. So there's enough questions internally within themselves going, I don't know if I really want to, I'm just not sure, I'm confused, I don't know what steps to take, and so on. And I think if we look at our lives in general, you'll probably notice that there's a lot of areas in your life where there's also that inner ambivalence as well. You know, you might want to go and purchase a new car, and you're sitting there going, oh geez, do I buy that car, or do I really need that car? And then the emotions run high, and you're like, oh yeah, actually I do want that car. And then there are other times, but what about the money? And I'm not sure about that. And that can apply in so many different areas of your life as well. We all have moments where we are in that kind of ambivalent state. And so it's very important to understand when men are giving those mixed messages, it could very well be because of their own inner ambivalence, that they're not actually 100% sure. Now, that's actually a good thing, because it means that the door's slightly ajar still, and that you can still work on trying to improve things and starting to engage in some open communication in those moments. Because, you know, without that open communication, you're never actually going to be able to really get the progress and experience the progress that you're actually looking for. So that's the second reason why a lot of men tend to operate with a lot of mixed messages. And if you're struggling with mixed messages in your marriage, just let me know what sort of examples you're experiencing below in the comment section. I always love hearing from my viewers and just seeing what sort of challenges they're going through. And the third major reason that a lot of men tend to operate with a lot of mixed messages is that their emotions are getting the better of them. Now, it kind of ties into the first couple of reasons as well, but you know, emotions are the number one resource that we have in our lives. You know, when people tell me, look, I don't have enough time to do something, I call BS on it, because everyone has the same 24 hours in a day. But if someone values something at an emotional level, then they're going to find the time to do something. Equally with money, if they value it enough, they will find the money to do the things that they need to do. Equally, if they don't have enough of an emotional tie to it, then they won't, or they won't find the time to do those things. And so emotions play such a big part in our lives. And for guys in these situations, because they're also feeling emotional, because they're also dealing with a whole bunch of negative emotions inside of themselves, and they're not just being cold and calculated about things, then those emotions are going to run wild at times. And there's going to be moments where they find themselves feeling that, you know what, I really, really want to make this work with her. I just genuinely feel that I want to make this work and I'm committed to her. And then, you know, you might spend a bit of time and maybe a couple of other little things might trigger him those moments. And then he suddenly goes, oh no, okay, that's the reason why I didn't want to be with her, and so on. And then that triggers him. And so it just keeps spiraling like that. And there's different moments where, you know, he might even have a couple of drinks, and then that makes him more emotional. And then suddenly he remembers the times when, you know, he was actually connecting with you on an intimate level and really brought back all of those beautiful emotions. And then he's thinking, oh, you know what? I love her. And then he might send you a text or give you a call. He might turn up on your doorstep and, you know, try and connect with you, and you might be moved by that. But then the next day, you know, maybe the alcohol's worn off, or, you know, his emotions have stabilized a little bit, and then it comes back to, okay, hang on, I need to actually think about this in a very pragmatic and practical way as well. And so you might get different types of messages after that. So this is the power of emotions for human beings. They play such a massive part. And not just with men, but with every human being on this planet. Emotions can run us and can allow us to make really good decisions. It can also result in us making really poor decisions as well. And so for a lot of men, they get ruled by their emotions in certain moments, and then those emotions result in the mixed messages that you're probably having to deal with at this moment in time. Then from here, we've got to ask ourselves, well, what do we do with this? What do we do with the mixed messages that we're getting? Well, the most important thing that we have to establish is some proper communication. You have to make sure that you're communicating with your husband in a very, very open and honest way, and they're actually able to understand what's going on in his mind, but you're also doing the internal healing within yourself as well. Because you see, if you're not doing that internal healing on the inside, what ends up happening is that the things that he says are going to trigger you. And when they trigger you, then he's going to pick up on that, and vice versa. And then suddenly it all just goes out the window. Now, I am kind of putting it on your shoulders because, you know, I primarily work with women, so the viewers of this video are probably going to be women. And so as a result of that, you're going to want to actually take the lead, because someone has to take the lead. Someone has to say, you know what? Yep, I know my marriage is a little bit on the rocks at the moment. I've got to take the lead, and I've got to get this to a place where we're at least moving forward and we're addressing the areas that were flawed during our time together. And by taking that lead, by stepping up in terms of your own communication, and by really learning about the male mind, what can happen is that it gives you this incredible advantage, because you're understanding what's going through his mind. You're also doing the internal work in terms of your own growth and your own healing work. And so when you combine that, as well as developing the right skills to communicate with him, you have this beautiful kind of approach that is going to result in you ultimately maximizing your chances of saving your marriage. Or even if your marriage isn't on the rocks like that, just help you to improve the quality of the marriage as well. It's a really, really powerful approach. So once again, if we understand what's going on inside of him, and we're also doing the internal healing on the inside, what that does, it results in us being able to create this beautiful environment when it comes to communicating with your husband. And it's something you absolutely can do. It's not just for the select few. Anyone can do it, but you've just got to learn the right skills on how to actually do it, and the right types of phrases, and understanding the male mind at that deeper level as well. And so if you are in a position where you're going, look, I really am at a bit of a loss, and I'm not sure what to do, and I'm not sure what steps to take, and I get this intellectually and conceptually, but I don't quite know how to put it into practice, well then that's where my program, the Authentic Relationship System, can really, really help you, because I show my clients step by step what they need to do in order to be able to start improving their communication by understanding the male mind, and also how to do the real healing inside. And I'm telling you now, when you do that work, I know some people might be a little bit scared of it or concerned about what it involves. It's actually a lot simpler than you think, and it's not as scary as you think. And what's cool is that once you put all these pieces together, it is unreal how much happier and how much more peace that you'll actually be within yourself. It's really powerful stuff. So if you do connect with my material and you do want to learn a little bit more about how I can potentially help you, then what I'd encourage you to do is just in the description section below, just click on that link which just says book a call with me. Just click on that link, choose a time that works for you, and then I'll contact you at the scheduled time just to see if I can help in any way and if this program is a good fit. And if you're not quite ready for that, then what I'd encourage you to do is just in the description section below again, you can just actually register for the free masterclass training. And in that training, I'll show you the 3 steps that my client Sarah used to be able to save her marriage on the verge of a divorce within 60 days. It's an incredible story. She made some amazing shifts, and I'd love to share that story with you as well. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you've liked it, make sure you hit the like button below. If you want to get more videos like this, make sure you hit the subscribe button and click on that bell notification as well, so you get access to my latest videos every single week. And I'll make sure I respond to every single one and help you on your journey as well. And let me know what your biggest takeaway is from this video as well. Just write them down in the comments and I'll respond to every single one of them. And if your husband wants to separate and you want to avoid 3 mistakes, just click this video above. And if you want to learn why men lie, just click this video above. Thank you so much, and I'll talk to you in the next video. Thank you so much, and I'll talk to you in the next video.